Hello everybody, this is Etho and welcome back guys to another episode of our Let's Play series. How you doing? I'm doing great, I'm doing wonderful. Last episode guys, we did the world tour and my voice has recovered since then. It was an hour and a half long. It was really challenging. I'm not used to making long episodes like that. We discovered some things have issues in our world. Maybe this happened because the chunk unloaded? Is he gonna go? Nope. Uh-oh. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, it's an hour and a half long. I was a little worried it was gonna have that too long, didn't it read mentality to it. Like, a lot of you guys would just skip it because, you know, it was way too long of an episode. But most of you guys seem to enjoy it. I didn't see any complaints about the length, so that's good. We're going to do a little bit of a follow-up on that episode. Some of the stuff I wanted to do, but we just didn't have time for. And also, got some stuff to try here. So one of the issues we had a lot in our world tour with our past projects is with these hopper minecarts not picking up items, right? And I do my very best, guys, to try to keep up to date with this game. Whenever a new patch comes out, I go on the Reddit, I look at the changelog. The changelog usually doesn't tell you everything, though. So you guys said the reason these are not working is because they added a tag to hopper minecarts that say whether it's enabled or disabled. I'm guessing that has to do with activator rails, because when these hopper minecarts are on activator rails, you can enable or disable them. This is a feature not a lot of people know about. So you said all I got to do is break and replace it, and that fixes it. Ta-da! Yes! Oh, that's so awesome. Because my cave spider farm was broken, that golden door was broken, this was broken. A couple other things that had issues. So all I gotta do is replace these. Pretty simple. Whoop. You see that? You see that? Empty minecart going around the track. That actually has the slime in. It's just not drawing him or rendering him inside the minecart. He's stuck here. You see how he's not moving? This is that glitch, like when I moved the Elder Guardian, how he went invisible in the minecart. So this isn't actually broken. It's just a rendering issue in the game. Game thinks the slime is somewhere he isn't, but it should fix itself once he despawns. Kind of weird. Nice. Whee! Awesome, guys. So we got those minecarts fixed. Now what I want to do is update our world map here. I noticed during the world tour, I haven't done it in quite some time, it seems. There's a lot of things missing. Let's, where should we start? Where should we start? Okay, so like Sandy City isn't on here at all. This ice mountain is gone. Break. There we go. So now when we look at it, it should render in, right? Alright, well that's one of them done. Right? Yeah, you see how that changed over here now? We got the pyramid instead of the ice mountain thing. Yeah, I think I actually have to go to the area to update it. Oh man. I might do a few of them, but not all of them, because that would take forever. That one updated pretty quick. See the mushrooms on the map? That's the swamp right there. Oh, here goes, here goes. New library. Showing up on the map. Alright. So, admittedly, that was not quite as amazing as I had thought. I thought we could, like, break the map and watch it update in real time and see it change, and it would be so cool, but no. I forgot you actually have to go to the area to cause it to update, and usually you miss it when that happens. So, anyways, I did do a few of them. Like, we got the path over here now. That's the blacksmith house, the house by the lake. We got our pyramid. Sandy City is not as amazing as I had hoped. Like, you can barely even see the wall going around it. and the gates. Like these are the gates here. Those are the houses. They're brown, apparently. And the swamp area looks kind of cool though, and the new gold farm. We got the new library up there, so we can see a few changes. But like the village and the nexus and all that stuff is down lower. The chorus fruit farm, all that stuff's down outside of the range here. For some reason, when I made this map, stupid Etho thought this stuff up here was important. I should have like shifted it up 2 map places, and we could see a lot more of our world. Okay, so another thing I really wanted to do during the world tour, but we just didn't have time for, and I saw in the comments as well, you guys were like, Etho, you should have done this, is look at our statistics. It's been a while since we've done this. Actually, let's look at achievements first. The other day, I got an achievement, and I was like, what? When I made the Snack-O-Matic machine, because I had to make a cake for it, and I got the lie. It's like, whoa, there's still things I haven't done in the achievement list here. Overpowered, eat a notch apple. That one's going to be a lot harder to do now. Is there any that I haven't done? Question mark. Or was the lie the last one? Have I done on a rail? Travel by a minecart at least 1 kilometer from where you started. No, it doesn't say taken, so I haven't done that yet, apparently. Taken. I've done the beacon stuff. Discover all biomes. I haven't done that? Oh, man. Man. Trade diamonds with another player. Can you do that in single player? Is there any way to do that in single player? I don't know. Oh, sniper duels missing. Yeah, there's actually quite a few there I haven't done. Alright, now let's check out our statistics, guys. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. I'll try to go through them pretty quick. This page is usually pretty interesting, though. It says, games quit 1,100, minutes played 43 days. What does our day counter say? Let's check that out. We're on day 7,117 now, guys. That's like... Oh, man, that's almost 20 years in Minecraft years, right? That's quite a bit of time. All right. Statistics. Yeah, let's go back here. Distance walked 5,300. I don't know if that's a lot. Seems like I spend about half my, or no, a third of my time sprinting. Distance by minecarts. Don't use minecarts all that much anymore. By boat, that's going up quick now that we got the ice roads. Actually, quite a bit of horse travel, 392. Distance fallen. There is one for elytra wings, too, 178. That's going to skyrocket soon, guys. Distance fallen, 144. Almost 500,000 jumps. 11,000 items dropped. Almost 500,000. Yeah, 500,000. There's a decimal there. It's like, man, that's a huge number. 500,000 damage dealt. 216,000 taken, 118 deaths. That's a decent amount, right? Nothing too crazy though. Mob kills 75,000, animals bred 4,000, 0 player kills as you would expect. I don't do a lot of fishing, and I have gotten 4 treasures from fishing so far. That's pretty pathetic. Talked to villagers 3,500 times, traded about 5,000. 0 cake eaten. 1 cauldron filled. Interesting. Armor pieces cleaned. I guess that's when you remove the dye from leather with a cauldron. Same with banners. 400 interactions with brewing stands. I look in droppers and hoppers quite a bit, it seems. 3,000 on just about both of them. And not much of a DJ with the note blocks. Ender chests open, 1,100. Items enchanted, only 59. That seems pretty low, doesn't it? Pretty low. 1,400 crafting table interactions. That also seems low to me. I guess it probably doesn't count when you look in your inventory, though, right? All right, and we'll try to go through the blocks here pretty quick. 345,000 stone broken, 106,000 dirt, 72,000 sand. Man, that's a lot of sand. Where's it all going? I don't even know. Sandstone, 20,000. Wait, what? Oh, shrubs? That doesn't seem right. Oh, maybe that counts like just regular grass. Has the wrong icon for it, maybe. Oh man, 1,800 obsidian. How have I done that much? That's pretty brutal. That's a lot of time mining. Alright, anything else? Do they have redstone on here? Just the redstone dust? I haven't seen it yet. Kind of curious. They got the blocks. Yeah, I didn't see it there. Oh, purpur, man. 10,000. I've done a lot with purpur. Alright, items. Let's go through here pretty quickly. Again, I don't want to spend forever on this. 218,000 things broken with my shovel. 574,000 with my pick. I think is what that was. And yeah, you guys can pause the video if you want to look closer at this though. What is this? Times used, yeah. And mobs. I've been blown up by 17 creepers. A lot of endermen. Oh, shulker. I've killed 4 of them. Never been killed by a shulker. 2,500 guardians. Lots of cows. This is where my food comes from. Well, anyways, those are our statistics, guys. I hope you found them interesting, and if not, well, thank you for not leaving the video. Let's move on now. Let's get to the main part of our episode. As you guys know, my favorite thing to do in this game is to come up with ideas, and then just see if I can make those ideas happen. I love the whole design aspect of this game. I love coming up with new redstone contraptions, that sort of thing. So today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to try make a new redstone device. It's a technical challenge. Might not necessarily be super practical for me because I have 2 brewing systems already. But I really want to build this thing, so I'm going to. You can't stop me. If you're playing on a server, though, guys, you might find this useful for your nether hubs, is where I think it would be most useful. And I'll probably put in my nether hub here, too. I am, of course, talking about a nether brewing system. What do you guys think? If I asked you to build a brewing system that works in the nether, do you think you could do it? Do you know how you would do it? I've been thinking about this for a little while, if it's really possible. And I think I have a pretty good idea of how to do it now. So here's the challenge, of course. If you're in the nether and you place a water bucket, it's gone. So how do you fill up your water bottles? This has plagued everybody that's tried to make a nether brewing system. It's impossible. No, it's not, of course. As a lot of you know, if you have cauldrons in the nether, you can fill them with water. Right. So now, if you have glass bottles, you can fill these from the cauldron. That's really cool, right? Seems pretty impractical, Etho. Why don't you just build it in the overworld? Well, we're trying a challenge, right? How do you do it in the nether? What's the best way? Well, there is one game mechanic that's not super well known that we're going to use as our main feature of this brewing system. Alright, so if you cart water into the nether, you can do it 1 bucket at a time, which we'll try to make work with this system as well. But you also have another option, a more complicated option. You could bring wet sponges. Those stack up to 64. So a stack of wet sponges is like 64 water buckets. Right? Did you know, a lot of people don't know this, but if you cook a sponge, it dries it out, but if you also put an empty bucket in the bottom here, watch what happens. Ta-da! It fills it with water, so we can get water buckets in the nether. Now, let's build an automated system of doing this. Okay, guys, so we're going to try to figure this out together. I haven't, like, pre-designed this in creative or anything. I'm figuring this out with you as we go, and hopefully this is going to work in the end of things. I decided let's build it in the overworld, though, so we don't have to listen to the gas the whole episode, and because we got better lighting, more space. Just figured it'd be nicer. So we have 3 main parts to the project. We got to figure out how to get the water out of the sponges in a nice way. We got to figure out how to fill up the water bottles, and then we got to make a brewing system, which could be anything. You know, there's lots of different designs for those. So we'll focus on the first 2 parts mainly. So So fuel goes in from the side, right? Yeah, so that goes there. Can we put water? Can't put full water buckets. Can we put empty ones? Yes. That's what I thought. Okay, good. So those instantly got pulled out, though. That's interesting because the planks didn't do that, right? The fuel stays inside, but the buckets don't. What happens? Oh, we should test this, actually. What happens when it fills up with water? Can we make that happen? We're going to have to power this hopper down here. And then let's just put that in for right now. When we unpower this, is it going to pull the water bucket out? Because it's not pulling the fuel out. Okay, it does take the water bucket out. That's really important. Because otherwise, this idea is just busted, right? Okay, so we're going to have to keep this locked while the empty bucket is in there, but then pull the full one out. So unlock the hopper once it fills it up. Aha! So check it out, guys. I got an idea for a trick here. A furnace has 3 inventory spots, right? So if one of them is full, this comparator outputs a redstone signal 5 distance, right? So up to 5 blocks away. If this one was full, it would be 10 blocks. If all 3 were full, it would be 15 that this would output a signal. So there's a cool little trick here. If we do that and we put our empty bucket in, right now this hopper is locked by the redstone here, right? Look what the comparator does. Goes way out when it turns into a water bucket, which unlocks the hopper and allows it to pass through. So because empty buckets they stack up to 16 per stack, water buckets only stack up to 1. So they output a signal way farther than empty buckets. So that's how we know when to pull the bucket through. Oh man, I think this is going to be a really cool machine when it's all done, guys. So I got a little carried away. I started watching some YouTube videos and I should have included you sooner, but I'll just run you through what we got here now. So this is our wet sponge to water bucket machine. And it's like fully automatic, fits in a 4x4 area. I'm really happy with it, actually. I'm really happy with how this turned out. So the way this would work, you'd probably drop off a stack of wet sponges in here. Let's just do 4 to begin with, though. Once you do that, you press a button, and then it does its thing here. So what happens is this is a dropper facing down into the furnace. That puts the wet sponge, just one of them, in the inventory there. And you see what happened? It put 2 sticks in, and then the empty bucket comes after that. Once it turns into a water bucket, the hopper has to unlock below to allow it to pass through. There's a lot going on in such a little space, honestly. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the dry sponges and the water buckets pass through this hopper. We got like a little item filter thing here. So wet buckets can't go in this hopper, only dry sponges. And then the wet... Did I say wet buckets? I guess they are wet, but yeah, the water buckets, they keep on going. They fill up this chest, right? So that's the general concept of it. On the side here, we have three more droppers facing into these hoppers. So the ordering is really important. We can't just fill up this furnace with fuel, because if we do that, then we can't put the empty buckets inside. We need to just have exactly enough fuel to do one operation, and it just so happens 2 sticks does that. If we were to use planks, what would happen is each plank can do 1.5 operations. So eventually it'll get to the point where it doesn't need to burn a plank, and then a plank will get stuck in here, and then the whole thing freezes. But with 2 sticks, it's perfect. So what we do, we have sticks in this one, sticks in that one. Since they're first in line, they go into the furnace first, and then at the back here is the empty buckets. All right. So it does 2 sticks, then an empty bucket every time. Pretty simple. Let's get this going again. So you just put that in. Pretty cool though. It stops once it's done with all the wet sponges on its own. There's no like clocks or anything. So here's the other big thing. When the I was going to say wet bucket again. When the water bucket passes by this hopper, we got a comparator over here to detect it. So that lights up every time we get a water bucket passing through, and that's what activates these droppers over and over. And also the wet sponges up here sends power to this block, to this dropper, so it activates all 4 droppers each operation. And that's like all there is to it. Alright, so first part done. Second part, now we got to figure out how to fill up the water bottles in a cool way. Okay, so I've been thinking about it here. I currently have 2 ideas of how to fill up the water bottles. We want this to be as easy to use as possible, as quick and simple as possible. But also we do want the machine to be as simple to build as possible too. So of my 2 ideas, one of them is simple, just a single cauldron. The other one is more complicated, involving a piston tape thing of cauldrons. So 5 at the minimum, and you would probably want more though, like maybe even up to 64. You could fit a full stack of sponge water into your cauldrons that way, enough to do 192 potions without having to refill them. Okay, but here's the thing. I just set up like the spiral thing here, so we press the button here and see the cauldrons switch places there. Also got a comparator detecting when we fill it up with water, so it should do it automatically. So let's try this out. Okay, so you would probably fill up all the cauldrons with water at a time. So you would fill one. What happened? No. Wait. Oh, I see. It sent power to this, but it also sent power back here. We don't want that. Aha. I think power didn't go through to the other side. That's kind of weird. Right? Wait a minute. Something very strange is happening here. Let's do this. And let's change this to a repeater. Now it worked. Okay. Okay, so every time we fill a thing of water, kind of switches places. So you could fill them all this way. Every time you do it, have it eject a water bucket at you. Maybe. The problem is you do still get stuck with the empty buckets, right? And they don't stack together, it seems. So you would still have an inventory nightmare. You couldn't just hold right click in any way. That would be the dream. And then you'd have to do the reverse too. So when you empty the cauldrons, you'd make it cycle then too. Oh, actually, I just had another idea, and this would be the way to go if it works. But Mojang, I don't know, did you do it? Did you make it work with dispensers? I would be very happy if you did. Water bucket in dispenser. Does it automatically fill a cauldron? Of course not. Mojang! Ah. I don't know, man. It seems like it should, right? It should. Maybe it matters which way you do it. Oh, hello. There's nothing below us. I was also recently disappointed. Like, I tried, you know how you can light a creeper on fire, or ignite a creeper with a flint and steel where they'll automatically blow up? I tried doing that recently with a dispenser, and it didn't work. Like a flint and steel in a dispenser, and then you make it hit a creeper. It doesn't make the creeper blow up like you would think. All right. Yeah, I think it just ejected it. Yeah. Okay, so you can't fill them. Okay, so I'm experimenting with 2 more ideas here, which are... This one got away from me a little bit. But the main concept I'll show you here. Let's grab a water bucket. Let's get these out of here too. I want to try make a system where you just hold right click and press Q every time you get a new item. So watch what happens when you hold right click on this cauldron. Trapdoor goes down. That stops you from pulling the water back out of it. Right? Because you can do that. If you hold right click normally, this is what happens. Minus the trapdoor. So the idea is you could hold right click, doesn't pick the water up again, then you press Q, throws the item in the hopper here. It detects that it's an empty bucket, so the trapdoor goes back up, and then you would have it dispense 1 empty bottle at you. So let's say there's bottles in here. Hold right. You'd still be holding right click. Now, before you would drink the water, you would press Q to throw it. That would give you another bottle. Q, Q, and then you would get a water bucket. But I got a bottle there. So it's not perfectly set up yet. You'd hold right click. Oh, it's broken. Oh no, then you would have to... Now it's broken, right? I don't know. Oh, now it's working. Hold right click. Throw that. Yeah, it's not quite perfect at the moment. Hold right click. Q. 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 And then ideally, get a water bucket here. My big concern with this idea, though, guys, is it might be a little bit slow. Like, it took a little while to fill up the water bottles there, and that's just because of the redstone delay that I don't know if I can make any shorter, really. It's also going to be complicated to design and build. So, difficult for me to design and difficult for you guys to build. So, yeah, this is the other idea I had, the second idea, which is a lot simpler. It would work something like this. Let's try it out. So you would get a water bottle or a water bucket from here to begin with. So from our sponge machine, all the water buckets we collect here. And then you would right click on the cauldron. You can't hold right click or anything. Then you would right click, right click, right click with a full inventory. Those are going in here. They're getting sorted. There's an item filter here that collects empty buckets. So the empty buckets don't go in here, they go down. And when it detects an empty bucket going through, it also sends a redstone signal up here to this dropper to give us another water bucket if there is one. So it repeats the process. So basically throw this in, get water, do that. Right click, right click, right click, throw a bucket. Right click, right click, right click. Throw buckets. Yeah, it's not quite as user friendly. Like, you got to actually think a little bit. Right click, right click, right click, right click. At least it didn't go down below. Yes, I don't know. I don't know. I got to think about this. So I decided I don't like this one here, guys. Honestly, it's too much for old Etho. It's too complicated. Even though it's simpler to build. You gotta like right click sometimes you gotta press Q, sometimes you gotta switch your inventory spots. There's a lot going on just to fill up some water bottles, right? It's too much, too much. Ideally, we want to try to get as close as we can to how you fill them in the overworld, where you just hold right click at water, fills them up, and if your inventory fills up, they start spraying out, and you can pick them up with a hopper. That's like the dream. For our nether system, I think I've gotten about as close to that dream as possible here, though. I decided to refine this one, make it faster, make it better, not quite as scary looking. So here, let's go for a little test run, okay? So we got our water in there, empty bottles there. So what we would do to start off with, get our water, our sponge water, right? And all we gotta do is hold right click and press Q every time we get a new item in our inventory. Q, 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 Q. So it's quite a bit faster now, right? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not as fast as overworld filling. And I'm using that empty water bucket at the end, or empty water bottle at the end there, to tell it to give me a water bucket. Otherwise, I would have to count to 3 with the water bottles here, and that would require much more complicated redstone, so I'm kind of doing a trick with it. But yeah, it's not too bad, right? And we got water. So it would keep going until you either stop or this runs out of water buckets. Alright guys, so I think we pretty much got this designed. We're also very much out of time for today. So what we're gonna do, like, we got part 1 done. I'm really happy with part 1. Part 2 might be able to improve it a little bit more yet, but what we would do, I should have mirrored this so that the water buckets were on this side. Then we could just connect it directly to this chest pretty much and build them side by side. That's what I'm going to do most likely. The other thing we got to do though is I'm using item filters down here to detect when the change that needs to happen when we switch from you know, filling it with a bucket and when we're done with the water bottles. I signify we're done filling with water bottles by throwing a glass bottle in here. So this detects when we throw the glass bottle in. This detects when we throw the empty bucket in. The problem is these just kind of get stuck here at the moment. So ideally I would like these glass bottles to go back up to our dropper here, right? Get them back in there. And then these empty buckets we need to connect up to our part 1 here. They need to go back into here. And that kind of completes the cycle. And then the water bottles just have to go into our brewing system. Okay, so here's the plan, guys. You can let me know if this is a good plan or not. I'm going to try to refine that and get it built for next episode so we can check it out right away. What I will do, if you're interested, I might make a tutorial for it. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know though. Like, most people don't even want to attempt to build a normal brewing system, and this is like a nether brewing system. All that part 1 and part 2 stuff is extra complication. So, I don't know how much interest there actually is in this build. You'll have to let me know if you found it. If you think you would ever build something like this in your world, or if you just think it's a stupid idea. Either way, I had a lot of fun making it today. Hope you enjoyed watching the design process and that kind of stuff. Anyways, the comment of the day says, should finish the villagers' houses, yet loads of them running around like an army bot, so good. Yes. You know what happens, guys? Every time I get like 20 or 30 villagers running around here, zombie siege. Zombie sieges happen so often when you play on hard mode, and you see my local difficulty is at 6.38. If I stay here for like 30 minutes or less, probably, all the villagers will die. I have to like constantly keep an eye out for it. And just recently I lost like 20 villagers. So be very careful if you're playing on hard and you have villages, because they happen pretty often. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your comments on last episode and your support and everything. Again, very good support from you guys. Really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed today's episode as well. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.